Mort and Vera started the camp in 1937. They didn't have children at the time, and then you guys were born, and all of a sudden, 2 girls, but it's an all-boys camp. So do you remember summers there, running around before you guys went off to whatever girls' camp you went to?
Yes, well, vaguely. Uh, I I remember we had a bedroom in the house, and as as babies in the cribs, we it was a wooden floor in the bedroom, and I was a very active infant and loved to rock in my crib. And one of the earliest stories that I can remember is that apparently I rocked my way to the door and no one could get in the bedroom until they figured out that a different access to it. But we usually, when we were very young, because both Mort and Vera were completely involved with the day-to-day operation of the camp, generally there was a young college girl who would come for the summer and
hired as our counselor, who
yeah,
took care of us. And I don't think you mentioned, Jill, our parents had a cabin on the property that was our house, and it had a couple of porches, and it had a fence all around the front yard, and that was where we played with the counselor. We were not allowed on camp property, Mort's idea, while activities were going on with the boys. We could, maybe during rest period, we could go out or swim when the boys were not at activities, but he didn't want any children, little girls, running around the camp. So we were restricted with this counselor, our counselor, to just doing things right around the house and in the house and the yard.
So I know the house. It was behind Boys Bunk 1 and Boys Bunk 2. I remember in 1974, we knocked on the door and we asked if we could sit and watch as President Nixon resigned. And my bunk sat in the living room or the den with your parents and watched that historic event at Camp Belgrade. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell me about Mort in his sort of, you know, as I didn't know him, obviously, by the time I got there, you know, he was the grandfather figure. But in the early days and when he was, you know, extremely active in the day-to-day operations on campus, what were the areas of camp that he thrived in or he loved or he would participate in with the kids?
He had a wonderful rapport with the not just the campers but with their families, and I think he really loved the time at that time there were several weekends that were parent weekends, so parents had options of which weekends to come to visit. And I think he loved the opportunity of meeting with and talking to the parents on an individual basis, sharing with them about their children's experiences. He himself had been a very avid tennis player when he was younger, but he didn't actually get involved with any of the sports, that at least not that I can remember. But he enjoyed walking, spending a lot of time walking around the camp.
Take a moment to shine.